What's up, YouTube? It's your boy ImTeeJax back here with another video. I'm ImTeeJax, T Jackson, Tristan, whatever you want to call me. Look, I just wanted to be, upfront, open, and honest with y'all. To start today's video, I was not selected for the 2026 NBA draft. I know that's very hard for the millions of y'all back home to hear that were rooting for me. It was very hard for me not to hear. Leading up to the draft, there were some red flags. I wasn't invited to Brooklyn at Barclays Center where the NBA draft this year was held, but it's not crazy. Like, it's not completely unheard of that I could have got drafted and not invited. I think maybe they just misplaced their email. I emailed all 30 coaches in the NBA, some footage of me working out, some of my tape and in school and all that, some of my rec league highlights, and unfortunately none of them got back to me. The only one that did get back to me was Nico Harrison, and this is when he was still with the Mavericks, and he told me that if I was able to get drafted or maybe sign undrafted to the Los Angeles Lakers, that he would attempt to trade me for Cooper Flag and get me on the Mavericks. So I did really appreciate that sentiment, but unfortunately the Lakers did pass up on me, and I'm gonna make them regret that. I'm gonna make all 30 teams in this year's draft regret passing up on a stud like me. As the picks went farther and farther along in the first round, I was just, I was confused as to why my name wasn't being called. But, honestly, once we got to the second round, I didn't even want to be drafted. I didn't want to be drafted in the second round, because when you really think about it, for one, not getting drafted in the first round is embarrassing. And second of all, second round draft, I probably wouldn't have got as much money on my rookie salary as I'm gonna get in NIL. So I didn't even want to be drafted in the second round. It was first or nothing for me. Unfortunately, though, after a little bit of research, after some consulting with ChatGPT, I do believe that my NIL contract this year is going to be $0. If you didn't know, I do go to the University of Michigan. I was a junior this past year for that championship team. I didn't play on the court at all, but I was an integral part to the championship culture of the fans in the stands. Like, I'm not understanding what these NBA front offices didn't see from me this year. I went to every single game for a championship team this season, and I cheered my ass off. Not everyone can do that like I can do that. I was a varsity player in high school. That means nothing? Suddenly that means nothing now? So what, if I was JV, it would have been the same thing? No, I made varsity in high school. So you're telling me that means nothing now? I'm honestly just floored. I have to return to the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor for my senior season this year. I know me and the boys are gonna ball out. So I just gotta make all these teams regret passing up on me, But I do want to say huge shout out to my boys, Morez Johnson, Jaxson, Lindeborg, and Adai Mara. Also, Michigan Wolverines that got drafted before me this year. This is funny. This is funny because so I remember earlier in the season, me and Morez, we used to go to the Chrysler Center. We used to 1v1, right? Jaxson and Adai would come in. I'm gonna miss these guys, man. And Morez would go to do hit a spin move on me, right? And I'd poke it out, right? I'd pick it out because I'd be like, you got to tighten up that handle if you go and be a top 10 pick in this year's NBA draft. And okay, I was wrong, but I always had faith in Morez. I was just trying to push him, far forward, and he would do a spin move. He'd try to hit a little dunk on me, but I stood my ground. I always stood tough, I really think that's the theme of this year's NBA draft. All 30 teams might have passed on me. I might not have been selected in this year's draft, but for one, there's always next year. I didn't get to the position that I am today by anybody believing in me. I didn't get here through handouts, and I'm not going to get to the NBA that way either, and I just have to accept that. It'd be me, Morez, Jaxson, Adai in the gym. Jaxson, he played too much. He'd always be trying to hit step back threes on me. I'm like, man, you big as fuck. Like, you just got to get into the paint. He wouldn't, so contested shit. He maybe hit 10% of them, but You know, for a good player like that, I'd expect him to hit some shots on me. And then Adai, you know, he is just a big goof. You know, I'd hit him with a little pump fake, he'd go flying past me, I'd drive to the rim. You know, that's an easy, you know, windmill jam. It's just, I'm very proud. You know, those guys are like brothers to me, and I'm very proud to see those 3 Michigan Wolverines all go in the top 15 of this year's NBA draft. In terms of the scouting department for these teams, I really think that this is just proof that NBA teams, when they're drafting, are just kind of taking guesses, because the fact that 30 teams all had like 2 chances to get me, and all of them passed up on all these chances, that really goes to show these teams don't know what they're talking about. I don't care if your favorite team is the Kings. I don't care if your favorite team is the New York Knicks. Clearly, these teams have no idea what they're talking about. I really thought, you know, the Thunder were going to pick me at number 12. I thought Sam Presti had a better head on his shoulders than that. You know, I really thought that the Warriors were going to pick me at number 11 because, you know, I can shoot very well. Some people say I'm the next Steph Curry. I wouldn't say that about myself, but other people do. But Jaxson Lindeborg was drafted to the Warriors, you know, fellow Michigan Wolverine, same as me. So, Jaxson, if you're seeing this, buddy, talk to Steve Kerr, try to get me on the team. I would really appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, going back to even like 8th grade, I was already touching net. I was already running like a 15-second 100-meter dash. I could do like at least 10 push-ups, and that was only 8th grade, right? And so obviously I've gone up and up since then, and I just don't know what I got to do to make these teams look at a guy like me. I even thought there was a chance, honestly, that I could make it into this year's draft just by like sneaking in there. I tried to sneak in as my twin, Jason Tatum. I look just like him, don't I? I'm not even joking. Like, people in my life have told me that I look just like Jason Tatum. Like, that's my twin or something like that. So you know what? Actually, I'm going to hit 7 chin-ups in honor of Kobe Bryant. I was going to say, like, -1 chin-ups out of respect for Jason Tatum, but, like, that doesn't really make so much sense. All right, hold up. No more. 7 to honor. Hold up, I think I hear a phone right here. Hold up. Oh shit. Victor Wembanyama calling y'all. It's Wemby. Hold up. I gotta take this shit. Wemby. Yo, Victor. Yo,
Tristan, bro.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Please tell me you get drafted to the Spurs, man.
No, I didn't, bro. I'm sorry. Maybe if it was still, you know, like Greg Popovich instead of Mitch Johnson, I could have.
Come on, man. We were supposed to play for the Spurs together.
I know.
And win championship together, bro.
I know, bro. I'm sorry. But look, man. You know, you a DPOY. You're gonna win one. You don't need me, bro. You got this shit, bro. I promise. I swear.
Thank you, bro.
I got you, my guy.
And if anybody ever asks, man, you're the best basketball player I've ever played with, bro. For real, bro.
No, thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I love you too, bro. Look, I'm gonna let you go, but be smooth, all right? Oh my God, bro. That's the hardest part of my job, y'all. Letting the people around me down. But you know what? I'm gonna keep working, and hopefully I can get drafted in the 2027 NBA draft. So keep an eye out. You know, as the years go on, I'm only getting older. I'm already 21. I'm old enough to legally drink, old enough to legally smoke, and it's like, you know, there's only so much longer before, you know, they're not gonna draft on my potential. But, you know, just because Wemby said that, let me show y'all some of my highlights. I actually recorded a video, you know, it was about a minute ago on Halloween, you know, maybe last Halloween, of me playing basketball in a Spider-Man costume, and I sent it to every scout for all 30 NBA teams, and no responses. I'm gonna show you the tape, and you're also gonna be amazed as to how these scouts could possibly pass up on me. Look. All right, so as you can see, I'm coming into the frame here as Spider-Man, just hooping at my local gym. You know, gotta dribble around, feel the suit out. It was kind of weird to hoop in a suit, like a Spider-Man suit. Like, it kind of tugged on my body because it hugged me in weird places. But as you can see, you know, the shot's still wet, the shot's still clean. You know, just had to get some little shots in. Behind the backboard, you know, everything. I'm pulling the tricks out, and then once I hit this shot here, I knew I was feeling good. So I got these people together. It wasn't a lot of people there, which I was sad about. I wanted to get some good runs on camera, but 2v2, that'll work. So I started up twos with these dudes, and they were pretty tough. I mean, I'm not going to show their buckets here because, this is about my highlights, but as you can see, they can get buckets. Here I am, wide open three. That splash, that's cash. Come on. What are we talking about? Oh, you're going to leave me open again? Okay, well, then I'm going to strap that. What are we talking about? Good little pass from my teammate there for the lay. Bring it back here. The ball was wet for some reason. I don't know why. But as you can see, I break that three there. But it's okay if you get it back and you make up for it. Splash. What are we talking about? We won. We were like up like 9-1 or something like that. So we just decided to switch to threes, by the way. Good little wraparound pass from my teammate there for the lay. I had to get off quick so I didn't get blocked. And as you can see there, they could strap. They have some good players. But, we're still better. And bro right there got blocked so hard that we just paused. Like, we had to reset. There was no foul. We just stopped. He got blocked so hard, we just stopped. And two open there. All right, I'm going to strap that. People aren't playing very hard because, I don't know. It was like a Saturday morning, and everyone just seemed very tired. As you can see, our boy can strap there. This is a new game. Yeah, I got out there with a decent contest, and they had some tall dudes who were hitting shots. But like I said, I'm not showing their buckets. Easy little take from me there. I'm going to bring it back out. Oh, no one's going to follow me. Okay, well then that's a bucket. My boy with a good little wrap-off pass from me. I don't know why big man right there ain't putting his hands up. That's too easy. Good little screen and roll action. Screen and pop. He tried to get out there. Huh. Too late. Now we're switching up the teams. A little open wraparound from me. Layup on him, reverse. And notice how hard he tried to block me. So I'm like, okay, well then I'm going to take it outside. And splash a three on you. Type shit. Remember how last time he was on me so hard when I did the reverse layup. This time I got past him. Potential reverse. Oh, put it up. And fake. Fade away. I knew he was going to try to block the shit out of me. So I was like, hold up. And that's contested as hell. I ain't going to lie. That was a good shot. My boy driving to the rim. Dishes me one off. I don't know how I've hit like 10 threes in a row and they're still not stepping up. But that was a little game winner right there. As you can see, I'm in my bag hitting LaMelo fadeaway one-footers. We switch up teams again. Back to the game. Break my first three. I get it back. I break my second three. I get it back. I break my third three. I told my boy, I just bricked three in a row. I don't know how I was strapping, but I bricked three in a row. But you know what? If you're gonna brick, well then how about you go into the rim next time? Huh. Good little lay over his head. Mind you, that dude's like 6'3". So I bricked 3 threes in a row. I'm like, all right, well then let me take it in next time. He had his hand on my arm the whole time, so I had to wrap it down and around. He still tried to block me, and that's an and one right there. Good take. They can't stop me even when I'm in a Spider-Man suit. He's a little boy, and he was talking shit, so I'm like, I'm gonna get a bucket on your ass. I ain't gonna lie, he was kind of in my face, and I still got a buck on him, because I knew he wasn't gonna block me. We're cool now, we've hooped since then, but he was talking shit that day, and I didn't fuck with him. You see, I had to tell him he's a little boy. A little layup there, and they actually beat us that game. Now that was the game-winning layup. So we're like, all right, some people left. We're gonna switch to 3-on-3 now. 3-on-3 is more my element. Huh, fade away on Brody. Too easy. Wrap around dribble. Big man. Feet ain't moving fast enough. That's a step back. Clean. I should have shot it from right there, to be honest, but I don't know why Brody's testing my range of all people. You know that's a splash. Come on, fuck is we talking about? Pass it over to me. That's a step back. That's a splash. And like I said, I'm not showing their buckets here, man. They were actually tough, and if I'm not mistaken, they were up at this point. But that's a little mid-range splash. I lost the ball. He reached for it. I teach then. Probably could have passed it out to my teammates, but I knew I was going to be able to lay it over them. Look at this. I knew when I dropped the ball here, he was going to reach, so I hit him with a little in and out move. He wasn't expecting it. And fuck it, that Spider-Man with the Spidey senses like I'm Donovan Mitchell. Fuck is he talking about? And then this right here was actually the game winner. They won. So like I said, they were tough, but I'm just not showing their buckets. But yeah, and what's even more sad is that after this, more people showed up and we started playing 5-on-5s, right? And in the 5-on-5s, I was like, okay, well, let me not bring the camera down and start recording 5-on-5s. Like, that just feels awkward. And I kid you not, the one and only 5v5 game I played, we won by 2 points. I was 6 for 6 from 3 that game, and the game-winning 3 that I hit was from half court. And I didn't record that game. So, whatever, man. Spider-Man hooping, literally like months late. I mean, damn near a year late if you're talking about the other video, but hope y'all enjoyed. Peace out. Alright, that concludes today's video. I'm awfully late in the video to say it, but like, comment, subscribe. Unfortunately, if this NBA thing doesn't work out, I may have to hit the LinkedIn portal if YouTube also doesn't work out. But you know what? If you like, comment, subscribe, hype the video, it takes 2 seconds out of your day, and it really helps me out. I'm gonna fuck with y'all. Peace. I'm sorry again.